we can have some reflections. Okay, you should be good.
Okay. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Toya Koro More Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Toya Koro More Toma Bina Ke Dayano Jagat Samsare Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Toya Koro More Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Toya Koro More Toma Bina Ke Dayano Jagat Samsare Patita Pavana Hetu Tava Avatara Patita Pavana Hetu Tava Avatara Mosama Patita Prabhu Napaive Prabhu Nityananda Premananda Sukhi Maha Prabhu Nityananda Premananda Sukhi Kripa Balokana Koro Ami Borodo Toya Koro Sitapati Advaita Gosai Toya Koro Sitapati Advaita Gosai Tava Kripa Pale Pai Chaitanya Gaura Prema Maya Tanu Pandita Gadadhara Gaura Prema Maya Tanu Pandita Gadadhara Srinivasa Hari Dasa Doyara Swarup Sanatana Rupa Raghunatha Swarup Sanatana Rupa Raghunatha Bhatta Juga Shiva Ha Prabhu Lokanatha Toya Koro Shri Acharya Prabhu Srinivasa Toya Koro Shri Acharya Prabhu Srinivasa Ramchandra Sange Mange Narottam Dasa Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Toya Koro More Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Toya Koro More Toma Bina Ke Doyano Jagat Samsare Hare Krishna Hare Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Singh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Natbar Radha Natbar Shri Radhe, Jaya Radha Natbar Radha Giri Govardhan Jaya, 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 Jagannath Jaya, Jagannath Jaya, Baladeva Jaya, Subhadra Jaya, Jagannath Jaya, Jagannath Jaya, Baladeva Jaya, Subhadra Jaya, Gaurani Tai Jaya, Gaurani Tai Jaya, Patita Pavana Gaurani Jaya, Gaurani Tai Jaya, Gaurani Tai Jaya, Patita Pavana Gaurani Tai Jaya, Prabhupada Jaya, Prabhupada Jaya, Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Jaya, Prabhupada Jaya, Prabhupada Jaya, Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Jaya, Vaishnava Thakur 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 Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Thank you, everybody. Now we read the translation of the Kirtan. So I'll read the first one, and then you guys respond, and then anyone on the call, they can read. Translation first. My dear Lord Chaitanya, please be merciful to me, because who can be more merciful than your Lordship within these three worlds? Anyone on the call wants to continue? Then we can have Naeem here to read.
Your incarnation is just to reclaim the conditioned fallen souls. But I assure you that you will not find a greater fallen soul than me. Therefore, my claim is first.
Third.
My dear Lord Nityananda, you're always joyful in spiritual bliss. Since you always appear very happy, I have come to you because I am most unhappy. If you kindly put your glance over me, then I may also be happy.
The fourth one you want to do? Yeah.
My dear Advaita Prabhu, husband of Sita, you are so kind. Please be merciful to me. If you are kind to me, naturally Sri Chaitanya and Nityananda will also be kind to me.
Very nice. So yeah, next is fifth one. Fifth one says, Gaura's love embodiment is shown by Gadadhar Pandit. Srinivas Pandit and Haridas Thakur are the ocean of mercy. Hari Prabhu? Hari Prabhu, you want to do the next?
O Swarup Damodara, personal secretary of Lord Chaitanya, O six Goswamis, O Rupa Goswami, O Sri Rupa Goswami, Sri Sanatana Goswami, Sri Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Sri Gopal Bhatta Goswami, Sri Jiva Goswami, and Sri Raghunath Dhasa Goswami. O Lokanath Goswami, my beloved spiritual master, Narottam Das also prays for your mercy.
Prabhu, you want to do the last? O Srinivas Acharya. Last, seventh.
O Srinivasa, successor of the text Goswami, please be merciful to me. Narottam Das Thakur always desired to company of Ramachandra Chakravarti.
Hari Hari Bol. Hari Bol.
Hari Bol. Darpan Prabhu, since you're in the temple, may we take darshan really quick?
Yeah, Prabhu. जय श्री राधा नटवर की जय। हरि हरि बोल। जगन्नाथ प्रदेश रामाई की जय, तुलसी नारायण की जय, नरसिंहदेव भगवान की जय, गौरनिताई की जय, एंड श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। हरि हरि।
Jai. Thank you, Darpan Prabhu.
Thank you so much, Prabhu.
That's such a good opportunity to take. So, Hare Krishna. Thank you all for joining. So I am scheduled. Actually, we had another scheduled speaker, but he dropped out last minute as well, because I guess he didn't realize the Australia time difference, which is like 9 hours. So it's like 11 p.m. for him. So so it got quite late for him. So unfortunately for all of you, I will be serving the Srimad Bhagavatam class today. So I seek all of your blessings, especially Naveen Krishna Prabhu. I seek your blessings, especially because everybody on this call is senior to me in age, in material qualification, and spiritual qualifications. I just hope to serve the Srimad Bhagavatam as best as my ability will allow me. And so further on, I hope to serve the Vaishnavas even better.
Hari Prabhu, before you start, maybe someone can give your introduction. Maybe Naveen Krishna Prabhu can give the introduction.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Everybody knows me. Neil, I think Vasanta Ramesh knows me. I
But
think
it's for YouTube people. Maybe someone join YouTube.
No, we have to follow the protocol, Prabhu. Rule is rule and rule is for all.
Yeah, whatever.
I'm fortunate. Thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to glorify the speaker of Bhagavatam. Age doesn't matter. When Srimad Bhagavatam first was spoken by Sukadeva Goswami, he's by far is youngest of all 60,000 people who were sitting there. Great sages were there. But some reason, when Krishna chose us, so there is a reason for it. Nothing happens. Why that Australian devotee missed it? Only Krishna knows it. But it's an opportunity because everybody wants to do when they wanted to do. That's one thing. But this is one thing my spiritual master said many times. Devotion service unconditional. Night 11 o'clock, and I feel like when I'm prepared. So the death will not come telling you. Krishna will not always open the main door. Sometimes to the back door and the side door. So we should be prepared and ready for any time. That's bhakti. So appreciate that nature, which you got it from your both parents. I've seen them. I worked with your mother in the kitchen many years, and I worked with Ramesh Prabhu for many years. So you imbibed that quality of jumping in, doing the necessary. So that's one of the good quality which Hari Prabhu also has it. I've seen him. The day he walks into the temple, I remember he was on his 8th grade or 9th grade. Tall guy, and then I was cooking in the kitchen. Then his parents also came to. We were doing theater pitching program, so that's where he used to come, and then eventually he started helping me in the kitchen, and then now he's doing that. So wonderful growth. But of course, he's still young. That means nobody is exempted from the modes of material nature. So we have to respect what we have, whatever we have. At the same time, within a given situation, what is the best we could do? That is exemplars. That's what exactly I see Hari Prabhu's, like, given situation, where we be, that's called service attitude. That's the most important. The most important. So because of independent nature, we came here, this material world. Because of service attitude, we can go back to spiritual world. The service attitude is nothing but the mood of bhava, bhakti, radharani. Because it's not like when I want to do, how I want to do, where I want to do. What is needed? What is needed for that particular moment? That's what Krishna also reciprocate with us. So very fortunate to have this wonderful family in our community. Hari Prabhu, so you are also inspiring so many devotees. So wonderful, keep up. And then thank you very much. All good, Shumpa.
all goes to Hare Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, that means the world coming from you.
But one thing I want to say, when appreciation comes, correction also comes. When correction comes, appreciation has to follow.
Of course.
If somebody appreciate you and don't correct you, that's hypocrisy. If somebody is only correcting you, not appreciating you, it's fanatism. So love has both of them. So Vipralamba and Sambhoga is part of bhakti. And part of progress also, Krishna also appreciate, Krishna also correct. So that one people has to take that. It's in the universal principle. If me, your, doesn't matter. The reason, whenever anybody speaks, Siving and Vyasa, whatever they speak, it will come back to us. Anything we speak to others, it will come back to us. I can tell you most of the time, when it came to me, I failed. It's easy to say, but when it is very difficult to execute. So that's the reason I was just saying, it's not to anybody. So correction will come to all of us, but Krishna is very much okay. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Naveen Krishna Prabhu loves me very much, and I love him very much, and he loves me enough to tell me as it is, you know, and I really appreciate that. And him and Rajabhakti Maji and Narahari and all of them, I appreciate them because they don't just, you know, puff you up. They also you also have to get humble at some point. So I really appreciate their family. They love me enough to do that. Not many people in this world will lovingly humble you, but I appreciate their families. So thank you for this opportunity, for letting me serve the Srimad Bhagavatam. As tradition follows, we will first start with Jai Radha Madhava, and then we will move on to the class. So I will just put this right here. And feel free to mute your mics, and I'll be chanting each mantra twice, so you guys can repeat on your own. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Janavallabha Girivardhari. Gopi Janavallabha Girivardhari. Yashodhanandana Vraja Janaranjana. Yashodhanandana Vraja Janaranjana. Yashodhanandana Vraja Janaranjana. Yashodhanandana Vraja Janaranjana. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, 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 Srila Prabhupada. Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bo. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajagacharya Astotra Sata Shri Srimad Abhay Charanaravindra Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nitalila Pravishta Om Pad Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajagacharya Astotra Sata Shri Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। वृंदावन मथुरा धाम की जय। पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र जगन्नाथ पुरी धाम की जय। अयोध्या धाम की जय। गंगा माय यमुना माय भक्ति देवी की जय। श्रीमती तुलसी महारानी की जय। समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। All glories to the assembled Zoom devotees ki jai. All glories to the assembled Zoom devotees ki jai. All glories to the assembled devotees ki jai. All glories to the Lotus feet of Guru Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. So today we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam. We will first start with we will pray for auspiciousness and invocation mantras. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tatho Jayam Mudhirayet. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead, Narayana, unto Naranarayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nashta prayesva bhadresho nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. By regular attendance in classes on Bhagavatam and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. So today we're reading from Canto 1, Chapter 5, Narada's instructions for Vyasadeva. Let's read verses 23, and I also like to read 25. So let me do that. It'd be easier if I shared my screen, wouldn't it? So database. I'll just pull this up. Zoom, share my screen. I hope everybody, oh, this is the wrong one. I hope everybody can see this. Maybe I'll just do this. Database. I hope everybody's able to see this. Can someone give me verbal clarification? You cannot see. Okay. Let's see this. How about now? Good?
Yes,
Okay.
Prabhu.
Let's do this. Aham puratita bhave bhavam mune Dasyastu kasyashchana vedavadinam nirupto balaka eva yoginam sushrusane pravrishi nirvikshatam. We can all repeat number 25. I will just read through number 23 because it gives context, but because where we're coming from. O Muni, in the last millennium, I was born as the son of a certain maidservant engaged in the service of the Brahmanas, who were following the principles of Vedanta. When they were living together during the 4 months of the rainy season, I was engaged in their personal service. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The wonder of an atmosphere surcharged with devotional service to the Lord is briefly described herein by Sri Narada Muni. He was a son of the most insignificant parentage. He was not properly educated. Still, because his complete energy was engaged in the service of the Lord, he became an immortal sage. Such is the powerful action of devotional service. The living entities are marginal energy of the Lord, and therefore they are meant for being properly utilized in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. When this is not done, one situation is called Maya. Therefore, the illusion of Maya is at once dissipated as soon as one's full energy is converted in the service of the Lord instead of in sense enjoyment. From the personal example of Sri Narada Muni in his previous birth, it is clear that the service of the Lord begins with the service of the Lord's bona fide servants. The Lord says that the service of his servants is greater than his personal service. Service of the devotee is more valuable than the service of the Lord. One should therefore choose a bona fide servant of the Lord, constantly engaged in his service, accept such a servant as a spiritual master, and engage himself in the spiritual master's service. Such a spiritual master is a transparent medium by which to visualize the Lord, which is beyond the conception of the material senses. By service of the bona fide spiritual master, the Lord consents to reveal himself in proportion to the service rendered. Utilization of the human energy in the service of the Lord is the progressive path of salvation. The whole cosmic creation becomes at once identical with the Lord as soon as service in relation with the Lord is rendered under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master. The expert spiritual master knows the art of utilizing everything to glorify the Lord, and therefore under his guidance the whole world can be turned into the spiritual abode by the divine grace of the Lord's servant. So now we'll read and chant 25 with the word to word. Uchishtalepan anumodita dvijaihi sakrit sma bhunje tadapasta kilvisaha evam pravrittasya vishuddha chetasas tadharma evatmaruchi prajayate. Uchishtalepan anumodito dvijaihi sakrit sma bhunje tadapasta kilbishaha evam pravrittasya vishuddha chetasas tadharma evatmaruchi prajayate. Does someone want to read the Sanskrit? Try pronouncing the verse.
Uchistalepa anumodito dvijay sakritmasmam punchetat apasta kilbisaha evam pravratasya visuddha chetasas tadharma evatma ruchi prajayate.
Jai. Anybody else? Okay, then we can move on to the word to word. So the word to word. Uchishta lepan, the remnants of foodstuff. Anumodita, being permitted. Dvijay, by the Vedantist Brahmanas. Sakrit, once upon a time. Sma, in the past. Bunje, took. Tat, by that action. Apasta, eliminated. Kilbishaha, all sins. Evam, thus. Pravritasya, being engaged. Vishuddha chetasaha, of one whose mind is purified. Tat, that particular. Dharmaha, nature. Eva, certainly. Atma ruchihi, transcendental attraction. Prajayate, was manifested. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Once only, by their permission, I took the remnants of their food, and by doing so, all my sins were at once eradicated. Thus, being engaged, I became purified in heart, and at that time, the very nature of the transcendentalist became attractive to me. Purport. Pure devotion is as much infectious in a good sense as infectious diseases. A pure devotee is cleared from all kinds of sins. The personality of Godhead is the purest entity, and unless one is equally pure from the infection of material qualities, one cannot become a pure devotee of the Lord. The Bhakti Vedantas, as above mentioned, were pure devotees, and the boy became infected with their qualities of purity by their association and by eating once the remnants of foodstuff taken by them. Such remnants may be taken even without permission of the pure devotees. There are sometimes pseudo devotees, and one should be very cautious about them. There are many things which hinder one from entering devotional service, but by the association of pure devotees, all these obstacles are removed. The neophyte devotee becomes practically enriched with the transcendental qualities of the pure devotee, which means attraction for the personality of Godhead's name, fame, qualities, pastimes, etc. Infection of the qualities of the pure devotee means to imbibe the taste of pure devotion, always in the transcendental activities of the personality of Godhead. This transcendental taste at once makes all material things distasteful. Therefore, a pure devotee is not at all attracted by material activities. After the elimination of all sins or obstacles on the path of devotional service, one can become attracted, one can have steadiness, one can have perfect taste, one can have transcendental emotions, and at last, one can be situated on the plane of loving service of the Lord. All these stages developed by the association of pure devotees. And that is the purport of this stanza. Hare Krishna. So we will just say Mangalacharan. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakavalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kantha Radha Kantha Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayati girim yat kripadamaham vande Shri Gurum Deenatarinam Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhagavate Shri Hare Krishna. Thank you all for joining on this wonderful Saturday morning. I am going to just get my screens all set up and then we can start. I would offer my respectful obeisances to all the devotees who have joined us this morning. Ramesh Prabhu, Naveen Krishna Prabhu, Darpan Prabhu, and all the devotees of the temple. Abhishek Prabhu, Neil Prabhu, Janish Prabhu, Alec Prabhu. Alec Prabhu is a real trooper because he was up till early this morning just doing work because his work is there, but he still made time to come listen to the Srimad Bhagavatam. Vika Mataji, Sukadevananda Prabhu, Vasanta Mataji, V Prabhu, and Vaibhav Prabhu. I'm very happy to see you, and I seek all your blessings because I am utterly unqualified. But for my own purification, I'm hoping to serve the Srimad Bhagavatam. You know, it's a great opportunity. This Shravanam Saturday is how it started. Was we wanted to give opportunities for people who are not so advanced or not so very much trained up in serving Srimad, serving class. So we just started this so people can come and purify themselves and serve the Srimad Bhagavatam. This was one of the things. And then also I heard from some devotees that that getting up in the morning is one of the best things we can do. And, you know, when we're at work, Monday through Friday, we have to get up anyway, very early in the morning, finish our japa and our sadhana for the day. But on Saturdays, people tend to sleep in. So this program is a natural deterrent for sleep on Saturdays because we are at 8 a.m. in the morning, bright and early, and we usually see each other's faces. But now you guys are all two-dimensional boxes in a black screen. So I would appreciate if everybody could turn on their cameras if possible. I think it makes the whole atmosphere more personal. And it would be easier for me to connect with you and see what's being understood and what's not being understood. So it's actually a great honor for me today, even though it was quite last minute, that I will be speaking about the lives of one of our previous acharyas. The perfection of the tongue is as Kulashekar Alva says it. There's a verse that the best head in the world is not the one with the longest hair or anything. The best head in the world is the one that is filled with the dust of the temple or the Lord's devotees. The best eyes is when they see the form of Krishna and his devotees. The best nose is the ones that smells flowers and incense and tulsi leaves that are offered to Krishna. The best tongue, the tongue has two uses. Best tongue is when they take, is the one that takes only Krishna prasadam and only speaks about Krishna. And the best ears are the ones that only hear about Krishna Katha, not anything else, exclusively Krishna Katha. That is the best tongue. So by giving me an opportunity to speak today, I'm at least feeling one of those one of those six things. And touching, and the best sense of touch is when you touch the devotees, or you touch the form of the Lord to decorate him. So 6. So today we'll be speaking about a personality, very great personality, but very misunderstood personality. If everybody can, I won't have everybody unmute. I would like to have this as interactive as possible. If everybody can type in the chat box, when I say that with the first this name, what comes up to mind? So the Acharya we're speaking today about is Narada Muni. There's a lot of misconceptions about Narada Muni. Does anybody have any conception or misconception they've heard about Narada Muni? They can please type it in the chat box, and I would be very grateful to hear it.
You want to know the misconceptions about him?
Yeah, misconception, conception, anything. What's the first thing that comes in your mind when he talks of Narada Muni? Columbus Ramesh Prabhu says, very controversial. Some people even may say troublemaker. I've heard troublemaker, cosmic traveler. Very, very good, Vika. He's a transcendental spaceman, how Prabhupada describes him some places. Anybody else would like to chime in with anything? Amazing devotee. Most of the great devotees were instructed by him. Of course, that he was the spiritual master of the two transcendental brothers, Prahalad Maharaj and Dhruva Maharaj, and many other devotees, as we'll see through the. So there's a lot of if you go to outside of you go to pseudo culture, or you go to some other culture, you'll say, okay, so Narada Muni did this, Narada Muni did that. He actually caused Kamsa and all these things. But you have to understand the transcendental platform he's on. He's not operating on our platform. He's a great Muni that can see things forward, and he can see things behind. And Ramesh Prabhu says, the only devotee who appears in every canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Wow. I never thought of it like that. Yeah, it's true. He does appear in a lot of them. So we'll be discussing about Narada's life, and Abhishek also has chimed in. He chants Lord Narayan's name without break. This is a song by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Narada Muni bhaje vina radhika ramana name. So his only business is to go around and chant Hare Krishna all around the universes. So I just thank you all for that interactive discussion. So we will Narada's life is just so wonderful. It's such a great lesson to be learned. The only cause of pure bhakti is, as we say, pure bhakti, with not bhakti that is with material desires. The only cause of pure bhakti is actually coming from the mercy of the devotees. And it's not coming from austerity or gyan or any of these other processes. The qualities of the devotees as the pure devotees is mentioned by Sri Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita in chapter 10, text 9. It's in the Chatusloki. Machita madgata prana bodhayanta parasparam katyantas chamam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. So Krishna says in there, the thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me, and their lives are fully devoted to my service, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about me. So you see that this is a high standard that Sri Krishna is putting for us who are aspiring devotees. We're all trying to become devotees. That Krishna is telling, okay, so how do you know a devotee? This is how you know. And Narada Muni was always we're always talking about Krishna, as Abhishek Prabhu says, that the devotees of Krishna do not talk about anything else, or they engage in anything else. They're simply after Krishna or matter relating to Krishna, just a precursor. I have not. I am not. I'm not a very senior person. I am not a learned person. I'm just a student. I'm just a guy. I'm just, I haven't realized any of this, but by speaking about it, hopefully one day I will I will realize this knowledge by Krishna's mercy. So I just want to make that precursor. I'll be making I'll be sharing some points, and please don't think that I am realized all of this, or I'm some person like that. I am just trying to serve the devotees by explaining the viewpoints of the acharyas and Vyasadeva himself, because Vyasasana, when we sit on the Vyasasana, we are supposed to give the authoritative the viewpoint of Vyasadeva. We should not give our own viewpoint. Hari thinks like this. I think, I opine. I think it is actually the opinion of Vyasadeva when we sit on the Vyasasana. So I just want to make that clear. So Narada is in the previous verses, in the previous section, Narada is instructing Vyasadeva, and he was saying about Krishna and the bhakti process, but to show Narada is trying to explain about the bhakti and bhakti process and the Lord, but to show how to get ananya bhakti or ekanta bhakti. It is not, you can't get it by any process except from the mercy of the devotees, causeless mercy. There's no cause to the mercy. That is that. So there's no. So it's not like a resume. I have done this, I have done this, I have done this. You don't get the mercy that way. It is called causeless mercy. And to illustrate the point of causeless mercy, to his illustrious disciple Vyasadeva, Narada Muni shares his own story. I would like to bring up this point in Brihad Bhagavatamrita before Gopa Kumar. Brihad Bhagavatamrita is a book by Srila Sanatana Goswami, and it's a very great literature. In the Brihad Bhagavatamrita, Gopa Kumar he prefaces everything. He says that it is a stricture of the scriptures to not share how one has one's come to the path of bhakti. But Gopa Kumar says that you're actually not supposed to do that. But Gopa Kumar says why we're not supposed to do that. It's because that is the greatest way to bring someone to the path of bhakti. There's no, when someone hears how I came to the path of bhakti, how this person came to the path of bhakti, and you hear Prabhupada memories and all this, how they came to the path of bhakti, it's actually the greatest case of to convince other people to take to the path of bhakti. So now we will kind of delve into how Narada Muni became Narada Muni, who became Narada. So we have to go 2 lifetimes back. We can't even go 1 lifetime. We have to go 2 lifetimes back, and we have to go to the previous millennium. In previous millennium in Sanskrit, so we have to go back a whole Mahakalpa. So in this whole we go back this whole Mahakalpa, and we're on this planet of the Gandharva. It's called the Gandharva Lokas. And in the Gandharva Loka, people are expert in a very particular skill. They're expert singers, and their bodies are very beautiful also. They're so good at singing, and they're so beautiful that they would stun anybody who sees them. They would just stun any of the pop stars, or I don't know, an example of a pop star nowadays, Justin Bieber, or in India, I see most people are Indian. What's an Indian pop star? Shah Rukh Khan. They're kind of like, they look like frogs. They look like frogs compared to the people in the Gandharva Loka. They're not. The Gandharva Loka people, residents, are so beautiful. They are so beautiful that it's our words fail to to explain that. So in Narada Muni, in 2 lifetimes ago, his name was Upabharhana. Upabharhana was very expert at decorating himself, and how he would put his jewelry on, how he would put his clothes on, how he would paint his face. He was, people put makeup and all this. He was very expert at that. He was so expert that he was very attractive. He wanted to make himself attractive, not for any good cause. He wanted to please the opposite sex. As Prabhupada said, can all be confirmed from Canto 7, chapter 15, text 69 onwards. So, as Prabhupada says it, he became a playboy. Prabhupada calls Upabharana a playboy because he was very expert at decorating himself for the opposite sex. So he was very lusty, had a lot of lust in him. So one time there was, so we understand the position of Upabharana now. So one time there was a great Sankirtan festival organized by for the Sankirtan is the is the glorification of the Supreme Lord, Narayan, Vishnu, Krishna. And it was organized by, it was actually in the assembly of the demigods. And then it was the Gandharvas and were invited, and the organizers were the Prajapatis, the progenitors of mankind. So the Prajapatis were inviting the Gandharvas to this assembly of demigods to glorify Krishna. So Sankirtan, Prabhupada is actually using the word Sankirtan in those verses. Sankirtan means Samyak Kirtan, the glorification of the whole. So it is actually glorifying Krishna. So actually, many low class people, as Prabhupada points out, that they do Shiva Kirtan, Durga Kirtan, Kali Kirtan, all these different kirtan. They're actually complete nonsense. They're not Sankirtan. Sankirtan, that's the only kirtan that is bona fide. Samyak Kirtan, glorification of the whole. So Upabharana is invited to that, and he goes, and he was singing, and there's two issues with what he was singing. First, he was singing while he was sitting with lusty women. So he was sitting in the company of lusty women, and he was making a show of kirtan, as it said in the purport. He was not trying to do anything. He was trying to show how well he could sing, only to please the lusty women. And neither was he trying to please, was he just for, as in Kannada we say, nam ke vaste. He is not saying, he's not by name, he's not glorifying Krishna. He's actually glorifying the demigods. He is glorifying the demigods. And this is as in the third canto, there is this reference that in the whole Vidura, Maitreya, and Uddhava scene, Vidura goes to Vidura actually goes to Vidura goes to Uddhava to take shelter, but Vidura is actually kind of his senior. He's senior, and Prabhupada saying that Uddhava kind of told him, go to Maitreya, he's more your age. So this is a principle called Maryada Vyatikrama, that we should not overpass the seniors. We should the seniors should speak first. They are we should give them precedence. So when Upabharana is doing this kirtan for the demigods in front of the Lord, the demigods themselves, even though they were being glorified, they become offended because he's not following Maryada Vyatikrama. He's not following that. He's not following that. So we have these 10 offenses to the holy name, and so you can see that he was lusty. He was with lusty women while he was chanting, and he was also glorifying the demigods, and he was singing kirtan of the demigods. So based on your knowledge of the 10 offenses, can you guys note down in the chat box what offenses did Narada Muni commit? I'll be waiting for that. Can someone write in the chat box any offenses that Narada Muni committed to the holy name? Well, for the first thing he did, we as we know from the 10 offenses, is he you can see that he was doing sankirtan with lusty women, and he was offending Krishna, because he was sankirtan should be for the glorification of Krishna, not for anybody else. So you can see that in this in the 10 offenses, the first one is to is Vaishnav Aparad. Second is to consider the names of demigods like Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma to be equal to Krishna. So it's mentioned that yeah, exactly right, Vika. That he was considering that Krishna's name and the demigod's name were the same. So that it's actually not correct. And sinful activities on the strength of chanting holy name. I think that's number 7. He was doing all these lusty things, and he was and he was trying to do kirtan, and he's actually using the strength of the holy name. And then, so how we see that practically is that Prem Sindhu Prabhu, in nowadays, how we see that the seventh offense in practice is Prem Sindhu Prabhu says this very nicely, that in college, Prem Sindhu Prabhu had a roommate, and this roommate, he was Smarta Brahmana, so he'd have his Brahmin thread. And, so he would eat meat. So he would just put, in the morning, he would put the Brahmin thread on the hook, and then he would go out and eat his meat. And then he would come back, take a shower, and then put the Brahmin thread back on. So that's kind of like, okay, just because you're a Brahmana or you're using the Gayatri mantra, you're actually committing sinful activities on the strength of chanting the Gayatri mantra or the Hare Krishna Maha mantra or any of these. So if you organize a program and somebody's like complete nonsense and trying to disturb the program, you get angry. So the organizers of the program, the Prajapatis curse Narada Muni. May you become an ugly Shudra in your next life. You're so beautiful. May you become ugly, and you're such a high class Gandharva. May you become the lowest Shudra in your next life. So the curses of the devotees, they become true. So Upabharhana was born as a Shudra boy, very low class boy, and to a son of a maidservant. And it is described that we don't even know who his father is. A lot of people, especially in poverty-stricken communities, I've seen those that they don't know who their father is. It's a very sad situation. They have no father. They have no training. So the father usually gives training. But even in Narada Muni's case, in the Shudra boy's case, there was no father. There was no education. They were dirt poor, and there was absolutely no qualifications. But he had one. This Shudra boy had one qualification, and the one qualification was he served the Bhakti Vedantas for 4 months during the rainy season. It's not that he had any qualification to start with. He was he just kind of started serving. His mom engaged him. His mom was tending to him, so he was there. Some of the great mothers in our community, like Vraja Bhakti Mataji or Kalindi Sundari Mataji, if you see them when they were training their kids, they would go to sannyasis and great devotees, and they would say, oh, bring him a cup of water, bring him some food, bring him some prasadam, go and wash his clothes, like that. And it may be possible that Narahari, Ujjwal Nitai, all these kids, they may not have known, they were very young, they may not have known the significance of what they were doing. But actually, the mothers were taking after taking up the process, same as Narada Muni's mom. So by serving the pure devotees, you become pure. So even though he doesn't know what they're doing, he served with sincerity. It's mentioned that he did not play around as in regular kid life. He didn't have toys. He didn't have games. He didn't have video games. He didn't have what's a video game like Fortnite. He didn't have any of these games. He was just serving these Bhaktivedantas for 4 months during the rainy season. Now you might ask, why do people stop during the rainy season? Why do people stop during the rainy season? But back then the roads were very bad and muddy, and during the rainy season it would just stop. So so he was serving them. And there's two kinds of mercy. There's conditional and unconditional mercy. So conditional is kind of like your boss. Your boss, when you work, your boss showers his mercy on you in the form of a paycheck. So that's conditional. But if you stop working, your boss he's going to stop showering his unfathomless mercy on you. But unconditional is the mercy is causeless, and it's not seeing his material qualities. So even though Narada was materially completely unqualified, he has no qualification, but by serving the pure devotees of the Lord, he's coming to the stage of perfection. So this brings us to the conversation of Sangha, the Bhaktivedantas, about the Sangha that they're giving. So even so I like, before I pause on go on to this point, I like to pause and see if there's any reflection or comments about what I just said. A reflection, I could really use a reflection. And a reflection is not a question. It's like a mirror. Anything that I said, you can just reflect back onto me. If anything that you'll take home from what I just spoke. Does anybody have a reflection? Or you can type it in the chat box as well. I just because if I keep going for a long time, it just like, oh, so much information. So I like to pause, and you can assimilate the what I've just spoken so far. Okay, we can then go to so Naveen Krishna Prabhu said something. For everything there is reason. Now that's requiring a purport. But we will go to Sukadevananda Prabhu has said the intent and feeling behind chanting is very important. I 100% agree, Sukadevananda Prabhu. Like we can't be like Upabharana, that's why we have these 10 offenses to guard us against this. So we will move on to Sangha. So Narada Muni got, I'm saying Narada Muni, but he wasn't Narada Muni yet. He was still the Shudra boy. So the Shudra boy got the association of the Bhakti Vedantas. But if you ask any karmi, ask any atheist, how do you become a drug addict? You hang out with druggies, You ask any motivational speaker, any guru, any person like this, even they understand. It's a very low understanding of what you associate with is what you become. But in the Vaishnava understanding, in the Gaudiya Vaishnava understanding, what is the actual meaning of association? Because we have a deeper meaning of association than what the karmis and what the atheists have when we say association. So we will so when we say association, we have these books, the devotees, the holy names, and they're kind of like battery stations. The books like Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita, they're like battery stations. And to connect yourself, sometimes we just have to connect ourselves to these battery stations. But sometimes we feel sad and lame in spiritual life. We feel, oh, Prabhu, I ain't feeling my chanting today. I'm not feeling my reading today. I can't chant my one chapter of Bhagavad Gita. But it's not a question that there's anything wrong with the books. There's nothing wrong with the chanting. The same Maha Mantra Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was chanting. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati was chanting. Narottam Das Thakur was chanting the same holy name. Nothing wrong with that. But the question is, how much are we plugging in to the Bhagavad Gita? How much are we plugging into the books? Energy actually comes from associating. We think mercy will just drop out of, the sky. It'll come in a neat package box. It'll have our name on it for Hari, all the mercy he wants. It'll just drop out of the sky in a package box. No, if we think like that, we actually don't understand the process. You have to plug it into the right area. So I'll take this example of, I'm a very visual person. So I'll take this example of the socket, my phone charger. Imagine like this is the socket and this is my phone charger. And, I want to plug in my phone for the night, I want to go to bed. And, this is how you plug it in, it goes in like this. But if I just like, I chuck it, I kind of just like throw it at the socket, kind of like that. Will my phone ever charge? Or if I just rub it on the socket like this, will the phone ever reach charge? Maybe I put one of them in instead of the other. I just put one of them in and the whole thing is not there. Will my phone ever charge? No, it will not. It will actually not charge. You have to plug it into the right area. You have to take the plug and if you rub it on the socket but there is a way to approach. There's an approach to how to draw in the mercy. You have to approach it like this to get the electricity from the wall all the way to my phone. So association does not necessarily mean of an individual. I think we all understand that after 1 year of Zoom rooms and all this. We're eating, sleeping, what is it? Eating, sleeping. No, it was Zoom. It was a joke about Zoom rooms. I forget about that. But us eating, sleeping, defending. I'll remember it soon. So association does not necessarily mean of an individual, sitting next to each other. Like I was hearing one Prabhupada disciple, he was saying this, that when he reads one of the purports of Prabhupada, he actually hears Prabhupada's voice. You are not this body, you are the soul. Cut out all this nonsense. So he hears Prabhupada's voice so clearly. Actually in our movement, there is only association. The Hare Krishna movement, we are only association. We don't do anything else, actually, if you look at it from one way. We associate with the devotees. We associate with the holy name. We associate with the Bhagavatam. We associate with so many things, but we are actually, everything is just association. We don't do actually anything else. But we need to know how to get the most out of the charge. But any association is better than none. Blind uncle is better than no uncle. But so we get the full charge rather than but we want to get the full charge. What might happen is that we might be in associating with devotees, quote unquote, associating with the devotees for so long, 8, 9, 20, 30, 40 years. But if we don't know how to extract the association, we're actually we'll get less from it. And then we'll ask, why is this bhakti process not working? I've been associating with the devotees for so long. And, these devotees, like these amazing devotees who have been here for less time than me, who have been, they're actually much senior to me. It's because, and that's happened, that's still happening. I see, I came to the temple in 2012, 2013 first. I remember, I have pictures to prove it. The temple in 2012, 2013. I still feel that I am such a fool that I haven't extracted as much association than people who have been coming to the temple for like a year, So the point is, if we don't follow the instructions, you're denying yourself from the birthright, your potency. So the mood and consciousness, as Naveen Krishna Prabhu always says to us, the mood and consciousness and the intent is very, very important in bhakti. So we don't want to be conditional. It's kind of like, when the guru or the senior devotee comes there, we shall act right. But when we're alone, where with juniors, or you can act like a demon, or when you're kind of like not with the senior devotees, so when you're only doing the right thing when people are watching, when the seniors are watching, that's actually extremely hypocritical and foolish. This is the delineation between Vapu Seva and Vani Seva. Everybody can use this tool if you want to. How to tell if somebody's doing Vapu Seva or Vani Seva? If they're doing all the proper thing all the time, regardless of who's there and who's not there, that is Vani Seva. But if they're only doing the right things when other people respect them are there, they're actually doing Vapu Seva. And Vapu Seva is limited service. That means the mercy and reciprocation they receive from Krishna and the Guru is also very, very limited. Vani is, if you're infected with Vani, if you have that infectious disease of always being with the Vani, it's always present. There's no time, but if you're only on the Vapu Seva, but not on the Vani Seva, you will only act properly when in front of the spiritual master, in front of the deity, in front of the respected devotee. It's kind of like the devotee, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati says this, of the devotee in the cave studying Bhagavad Gita. Has everybody heard the story? If maybe you guys can put a reaction if you read the story, maybe thumbs up if you have heard the story of the devotee in the cave. No? Okay. It's time. I can share the story. That devotee goes to the Guru and says, tells the Guru, how can I serve you? The Guru says, go to the cave and read Bhagavad Gita. So he goes to the cave and reads Bhagavad Gita, and he's just reading, and then he takes some rest. He puts the book down, and then he sleeps, and then he sleeps, and then he finds that the next day, oh, there's some mice in this cave, because they're eating the pages of the Bhagavad Gita. And then the devotee says, I should get a cat to eat the mice so I can read Bhagavad Gita in peace. So he gets the cat. And then the cat is trying to eat the mice, and then the cat is like, meow, meow, meow. It's hungry. If it can't catch the mice, it's hungry. So, and then the devotee says, the cat needs food. So let me we need some milk for the cat. Cats actually like milk. So let me get a cow. Let me get a nice cow, and I will milk it, and I will feed the cat, and the cat will eat the mice, and then after that I can read the Bhagavad Gita. So he gets the cow, and and if anybody's been with the cow, there's so much to working the cow. You have to feed it. You have to clean up its stool. So he says, it's a lot of work to take care of the cow. Let me get a nice wife. So the wife will take care of everything. Prabhuji's, I know that if we'll take it all on in the beginning, but then when time comes to time, let's shovel it onto the wife. So he's like, let me get a wife to take care of the cow. And so he gets the wife, and the wife starts, I need a house. I cannot stay in this cave. How can I stay in this small cave? Only one bedroom, 2 bathroom, no kitchen. How can I stay in this cave? So he builds a nice house for this wife, and then the Guru comes back, and then the Guru asks, how many pages of Bhagavad Gita you read? I'm trying, Guru Maharaj, I'm trying, but there's so many things. I had to get the cat, I had to get the cow, I had to get the wife, and then I had to get a house, and then I have to maintain all of this. So I'm narrating this story to show that, this devotee was a Vapu Seva. When in front of the spiritual master, he said, okay, I'll read the Bhagavad Gita. But if he was attached to the Vani Seva, he could understand, okay, the spiritual master is watching me. We should always imagine that our spiritual master is right next to us, always assessing what we're doing. But these are the qualities of the Bhaktiveddantas. They're impartial. because they know Krishna. They're not prideful. Actually, pride is the grossest shackle on the pure spirit soul, because you're stealing Krishna's position, because all glory should go to Krishna. So pride, I was just hearing yesterday, Radhanath Swami Maharaj, he was saying pride is the grossest shackle on the pure spirit soul. So the question is now, do you want to be empowered? Do you want to be purified? So, in this verse 1.5 to 25, he developed some attraction for Krishna as the Bhaktivedantas, and he got the same attraction as what the Bhaktivedantas had in 4 months. So he reached the stage of prema. After the 14 and the 9 stages of bhakti, he reached the stage of prema. So I'll ask to the assembled devotees, who is Narada speaking to? Very interesting thing. Who is Narada speaking to? Maybe you guys can type it in the chat box. We can have some theme music, Do we all remember who Narada is speaking to? Vyasdev. Very good. So, as Ramesh Prabhu said, Vyasdev is God. He is none other than Krishna himself. He knows everything. But why would he want to sit? Narada knows this. Vyasdev knows. If Krishna knows front and back, behind, side to side, he knows everything. Why is he sitting down and listening? Vyasdev is teaching a very important lesson. He is listening attentively to everything his pure devotee is saying. The reason is he's demonstrating the proper mood on how to receive knowledge. He's setting the perfect example of 2 things: obedient hearing and strict following. It has 2 aspects, obedient this process of following. It has the letter and the spirit. I'm aspiring to do a pre-law degree right now. So so in the law, there's 2 Vaibhav knows I've talked his ear off about the law. So there's 2 aspects to law. There is the letter and the spirit, So you can have a law, don't do this, don't do this. But what's spirit behind that, Because as we see many times in law cases, the single comma can be the difference between the whole case. Just many times in history, in American history, just 1 comma can make entire difference. So, it's the letter and the spirit. It is not so much who is the closest. There are many people associating with Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, many people very closely associated with Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. But who has the letter and mood of the Vani? You take the Vani in your heart, and you're close to the devotee. Radhanath Swami Maharaj, he met Prabhupada only like once or twice. He didn't have too many conversations with him. And I was just listening to the Nam Ras podcast, and they had Janavi Harrison's mom. Her name is Sri Guru Charana Padma Devi Dasi. And, she was one of the biggest book distributors at O'Hare Airport in the 1970s. And, she got her initiation through the mail in 1977. So she has not actually seen Srila Prabhupada in face-to-face. But she has been continuously serving him for over 47 years. So this is what Vani Seva is. If you keep Vani at a distance, if you keep the instructions and not by your heart, it doesn't matter if you're close. It doesn't matter how many stories you know about Guru Maharaj. No, it doesn't know how many stories of the devotees. You're not close to the pure devotees. Simple as that. It's not that you sit around, have a pizza, go to the Govindas with the devotee. It's an affair of the heart. It's an affair of the heart and the consciousness. If you keep the Vani close to your heart, you'll become stronger and stronger in spiritual life. All that we do is just, if you don't take anything from the class today, just remember that everything we do is association. it's the gigo principle. You get good in, you get good out. If you put garbage inside your association, you get garbage when you get out. So that's the point, and that's what I want everybody to remember, and I hope to remember as myself. Again, I like to say that I'm still trying to realize everything that I'm trying to speak, but I hope I have been able to be a benefit to hear today, and I would like to beg forgiveness if I have spoken anything that may appear that is out of Siddhanta or it's out of line. But but this was my humble attempt to try to serve my spiritual master and serve our previous spiritual masters and our parampara in disciplic succession. And I would just like to beg forgiveness from everybody here. If you got anything from this class, I would like to please offer that to the feet of my spiritual master and Srila Prabhupada. It is actually all coming from them. And if I have done any mistakes, please forgive them and take it as a human error upon my part. So I will pause. We never end or stop Srimad Bhagavatam class because there ain't no party like a Bhagavatam party, because a Bhagavatam party don't stop. So we always listen to Bhagavatam. So we will pause here for today. If there are any comments, questions, corrections, anything like that, I will be open to taking that now. Hare Krishna. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. So if anybody would like to raise their hand or unmute themselves, I am open for comments, questions, or corrections. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Vika. Thank you, Vaibhav. Anybody have any comments, questions?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Sukadevananda Prabhu. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. I just wanted to thank you for excellent rendering of today's class. Okay, just want to let you know, and very well described, and you put together a nice sequence of examples, and you compiled it very well. Like I don't have anything else to say other than thank you for all your effort for today's class. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Sukadevananda Prabhu.
Thank you very much.
We're still waiting for your class, and your class that you gave about Vrindavan Das Thakur is still ringing in my ears. That's actually I'm reading Chaitanya Bhagavat in preparations for Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance day, Gaur Purnima, and I'm always, whenever I touch it, I'm like, okay, what did Sukadevananda Prabhu say about Vrindavan Das Thakur? So thank you for that.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I mean, you seem to remember, but I have forgotten it, Prabhu. So that tells me that I'm an instrument. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Hope to fulfill what I told you soon. Please bear with me.
Hare Krishna. Anybody else have any comments, questions?
Yeah, I have a comment.
Hare Krishna.
So I just sent you one link, you can read it. So I was just researching about Narada's previous life. Srimad Bhagavatam explained a little bit, but there are other Puranas has a little bit more details, like Garga Samhita. There is a Narada Pakhyayana. Chapter itself is dedicated for Narada. Conversation between Radha and Krishna about Narada. It's an amazing, read it, so it will be a little informative. So that's one thing. It is very one of the things when you say that when Narada Muni is singing, he got cursed by Brahma, right, to become a Shiva. My understanding is that he's not singing holy name; he's singing in general glories of Brahma or the demigods.
So in the Bhagavatam, it mentions that he's singing the glories of demigods.
Yeah, that's correct.
And he was cursed by the Prajapatis. There's actually no mention of Brahma there.
So it is mentioned here in this. It is clearly mentioned.
Oh, it's mentioned here. Okay.
So he goes to meet Brahma, and the demigods are there,
Mm.
And then in that assembly, he was glorifying, and that's where he saw these ladies. And then he was actually, mind was disturbed.
Mm.
Mind was disturbed, but the lips were moving. So there is no holy name there. But he was glorifying. But even in that great association of great demigods, including his father, he should have have a good composure. So, and then because of that, he paid the price. But eventually, in the life of Narada, it is an illustrated story how Krishna is using him as an instrument, what not to do, what to do. Like, Edyat Yatariti says that, that Evatadya Say Pramanam Krishna Lokasta Tanvat. Amazing, amazing. Narada Muni itself is a great, who was cause of bhakti for great dynasties. He's so fearless, and he's also the same person. He's also close to demons. He's a one person. He's close to demigods. He's also close to demons. And the demons may not like even Vishnu, but they like Narada. But he is such a preacher, he can crack something like you. He can connect anybody. So he can connect to Kamsa. He can connect to Hiranyakashipu. He can connect to even Ravana. They have a faith in him. So they're amazing how he does, he's an amazing preacher. How he preaches, in time plus circumstances. He preaches to Valmiki, sing the glory of death. He's such a preacher. He knows what to do, what to say. Based on Desakala Patra. It's an amazing transcendent personality. Sometimes he's unconventional.
Yeah.
Sometimes you should not follow him. You should not do that. At the same time, you should follow his spirit.
Mm.
It's an amazing, how he chastises. In this case, is Vedavyas. And then, he's once and understand, this is one verse in Bhagavatam, Vaishnava Veda Kriya Mrudha. There's one personality which Narada Muni is, nobody can understand him. Only person who understands him is Krishna. And Krishna uses Narada Muni to teach you, me, and all the people, time and all this. That's an amazing point. I just wanted to add a comment. Thank you.
Thank you. It's actually same with the Bhaktivedantas and Narada Muni. This is the quality of a Brahmana. The quality of a Brahmana is impartial. They don't take. That's why the Brahmanas are technically they're not paid by anybody. They take donations. So Brahmanas don't take money because they don't want to be influenced. Kind of like I see many similarities between the Supreme Court justice in America. In America, the Supreme Court justices, they serve lifelong terms so that they are not they're outside of political influence. So same way Brahmanas, they don't take any salary because they have to be impartial. So and they have to have their intelligence maintained, so that they can treat everybody equally, whether it's a king or a pauper. Yeah, thank you for that that addition, Prabhu. Does anybody have anything else? Question, reflection? Alec, Prabhu, you have anything else? Are you there? I think Alec Prabhu's away. But we will, next week's verses are verses from text 29 to 31. Canto 1, chapter 5, text 29 to 31. Thank you all for joining today. I was a blast to be with all of you, and I learned a lot, and I hope to serve again. I usually don't serve Bhagavatam class very much, but whenever Krishna gives me the opportunity, I really like to do it, and I hope to serve you all more in person as we slowly open up. And Ohio's opening up, and I hope that everybody is staying safe out there. And Alec Prabhu, is that you?
Hari Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna, Alec Prabhu. Thank you for joining.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. What a wonderful class you gave today. Hope to hear from you more and more.
Hare Krishna. I hope to see you soon, Prabhu. So we will end with Vaishnava Pranams, and we can pause our study for today. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hari bol.
Hari
Thank
bol.
you, Ganesh Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Haribol, Haribol.
Hare
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Hari Prabhu. Sorry I joined late.
No problem, Rupamaji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.